Welcome to the first video, U.S. government. And obviously the first question in a government class is just going to have to be, what is gov? Baby, don't hurt me. No? Anybody? Maybe that's before your time. I want to go over two definitions of government, though. There's one that comes from a man named Max Weber. He said that a government is whatever entity has the legitimate claim on the monopoly of force in a society. So think about it. You can run around and hit whoever you want, but we consider that illegitimate. It's a crime. The government, however, has the authority to go in and use force where it sees necessary, and hopefully the majority of the time with the good of the public in mind. Another definition for government is all of the institutions and people that come together to make our legitimate rules and to resolve our conflicts. Conflict is just a normal part of human nature, human societies. Maybe somebody looked at you funny, maybe you want something somebody else has. We need this system of legitimate rules and institutions to help us not only figure out what to do about these things, but to enforce the decisions that we make. But what were governments like for the majority of history? Or maybe a better way to ask that question is, how were those conflicts resolved for the majority of history? If you said might makes right, then you're right. For the majority of recorded history, and even in a lot of places today, just by virtue of being the strongest or having the best weaponry, you get to be the one to say what goes, no questions asked. Take a look at this map. It's of ancient Greece, and you can see some of the city-states listed, particularly Athens and Milos. There's a great story from about 450 BC. During the Peloponnesian War, it's said that the Athenians made their way to the small neutral island of Milos to deliver an ultimatum. They told the Melians, either you can surrender to us or we'll destroy this island. When the Melians protested and asked why they were doing this, basically the Athenian response was, because we're stronger and because we can. They told them that there was no shame in submitting to somebody who was stronger than them, but somehow this conflicts with our modern sensibility of what it means to be a state and whether or not people have any rights of their own. Side note, my father was from Athens and they're not all that nasty. Now, maybe all this talk about powerful people running around doing whatever they want unaccountably is ringing some bells. Kings, queens, royalty, all that sort of thing. It was the standard model of government for thousands of years. The divine right of kings theory held that anybody who was sitting on the monarch's throne was given their right to govern by God. This meant that they had unlimited authority and that anybody who acted against them was not only committing treason, they were also committing a sin against God. For quite a long time, this was the theory that all global government with kings, queens, and royalty was built on. Now we're going to take a stop in 1215 AD. That's 800 years ago, but still 17 centuries after the Melian dialogue with the Athenians that we spoke about a minute ago. This is Runnymede. It's the site of the signing of perhaps the most important legal document in the history of mankind. The Magna Carta, Latin for Great Charter. It was the first time in history where the legal concept of limited government was put into play. Limited government was the idea that there were rules to governing that had to be enumerated, that had to be in the public interest, and that could constrain the absolute power of the monarch, and in fact the state itself. And now that I'm done struggling to cram thousands of years of history into 4 minutes, we can talk about the real meat and potatoes of this course, the 17th and 18th centuries. We're going to talk about some very influential thinkers, particularly Thomas Hobbes, who wrote Leviathan and was terrified of almost everyone he met, John Locke, who thought we all have the right to life, liberty, and property, and Jean-Jacques Rousseau, who believed that the ultimate authority of every government was derived from the people. These three men really set the stage for the foundational documents like the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution that we have built this country on top of. Now go learn! I've selected some excellent videos to help us frame the rest of the material for this course. And as always, do not hesitate to contact me at any of the course phone numbers or at my email address if you have any questions. Bye-bye for now.